Adam Savage here in my cave with what is, I consider, one of the finer pieces in my collection of space memorabilia. This is a beautiful British high-altitude pressure helmet, known as the Taylor helmet. This thing is amazing. This is a very rare helmet. They didn't make a lot of these. They were apparently super uncomfortable to wear, and they cost a fortune back in the 70s. Like, I think one of the figures I came across was $25,000 per helmet in mid-1970s money. That's crazy. And pilots did not like wearing this helmet, apparently. Again, I'm really looking forward to hearing in the comments if some of you know more about this helmet than I do, because my knowledge is precious. Is small. I do however, have a suspicion about why pilots hated wearing this. And it has to do with what it felt like when I wore it, because this thing grabs your head like a freaking face hugger. Note 6 straps from all over being tightened against okay. Within pressurized environments, there are systems that are called open systems and closed systems, and they kind of mean the opposite of what you think. The system I wore when I put on a David Clark suit for flying in the U-2 spy plane, that's called an open system helmet, because the pressurization is literally only happening around your face. Because when you go up high in altitude, because the air is thinner, the air is thinner because the molecules of oxygen and nitrogen, the other things that are in our breathable air, are farther apart. And when you get to those high altitudes, it doesn't matter how much oxygen you pump into your lungs. If it's not under pressure, the oxygen molecules are too low in number for you to survive. And so you must pressurize. The Boyle's law leads to more molecules of gas within the confined space. I've long talked about how difficult it is to wear spacesuits under pressure, because the spacesuits, because NASA spacesuits in general are what you'd call closed systems, which means the entirety of the anthropomorphic suit is pressurized, not just the part around the face. It's much easier to pressurize just the part around the face, but it's much less, it's easier mechanically, much less comfortable physically. So when you put this helmet on and you tighten it down, what's happening is that this rubber part is creating a seal right around here. I mean, I don't get claustrophobic. I really don't, but I almost got claustrophobic trying on this helmet. It is in fantastic shape. A person who had collected this passed away, and their granddaughter sold this to me for real money. I mean, I didn't get a great deal on it. I paid exactly what it was worth. And I am so grateful to have this in my collection. Number one, I think it's really clearly the inspiration for the helmet from the opening shot of Alien, which has the food port down here and the smoke visor. Actually, I've got one. Hold on, I'll bring it over and show you. And I don't have the helmet from the opening sequence of Alien, because it's at my house. Like I said, I curate some parts back and forth between the cave and the house. But when I look at the two side by side, if you watch Blade Runner tonight or open up that opening sequence and take a look, you'll see totally they were inspired by this helmet. But I also love, like NASA equipment, there are aspects of this that are really clearly just handmade. For instance, this thing has lettering all over it that's handwritten in pen. I don't know what some of it means. It says mods 21, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 30, 32, 34, 35. I don't even know what that means. Does that mean mods permission? I don't know. F.L.T. Miller, is that the person who wore this? I'm guessing that's the case. I think that's the COM connection. I love the fiberglass and all the, look, there's just a way in which, even though this is from the British aerospace industry, it feels very simpatico with every piece of NASA hardware I've ever touched, in that it's beautifully made, clearly solving a specific set of problems at a specific point in time. And I think of all the human beings involved in the process. I mean, this is really fascinating, this bit of macrame here that exists solely to allow the pilot to unzip themselves. This is like a wetsuit tether. I'm going to guess the first helmets may not have had that. And someone was like, you got to put something on there so I can take this thing off. Yeah. I have actually had a folder of Taylor helmet photos since way, way back. But only a few years ago, Ryan got to introduce me to the person who had this for sale, and I bought it and a couple of other things from them, and I'm really grateful for it. I don't buy a lot of original space hardware because it's super expensive. That's the main reason. If I can make it, I'm going to make it. But the Taylor helmet is there's just too many. It's too weird. It's too far. I mean, I may end up making a replica of this at some point, but only because I actually own a real one. Trying to do this from photo reference could have almost broken me. But I'm so grateful that I was able to add this to my collection because I think it's gorgeous. And like I said, super rare. I'm still trying to piece together the various altitude suits this might have been worn with, but I believe that one type of altitude pilot suit that this helmet was worn with is the same suit of the Bosk, B-O-S-S-K, bounty hunter from Star Wars, with that washboard thing. I think it's also on some other costumes in the Star Wars universe. Right, that actually an almost unmodified flight uniform from the same era. So I have considered actually taking that photo reference and sewing together and making the full altitude suit that goes with this, because once you've got the helmet, well, you always want to complete the package. Yeah, I am totally curious about what you might know about this helmet in the comments. So anybody who's more well-versed in British aerospace than me, which is a very low bar, I'd be delighted to add whatever information you know about this helmet to my compendium of information I keep about all the pieces in my collection. Thank you guys for joining me for this show and tell. Yeah, no, I'm not going to put it on right now. Here's what happened the first time I put it on. I inhaled a whole bunch of weird dust because of you're breathing through the system. That was ridiculous. It was stupid. I was like, bah, 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 bah. It was awful. And I'm still a little traumatized from it. And it happened like 2 years ago. So no, I'm not going to put this helmet on my head anymore. But it will forever be a prized piece of my collection. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe. I will see you next time.